Hi, and welcome back to Museum at Home. Now today we are exploring the world of the Romans and we're looking at them through some of the objects that they have left us. Now when we think of the Romans, what sort of objects or things do we think of? Huge amphitheatres, villas, aqueducts, Roman baths, statues. There are lots of types of artefact, object, or even the remains of buildings that the Romans have left us, and that we can still visit today and use as evidence of our understanding of Roman history. And we can find remnants of the Roman Empire in many places throughout the world. Have a look at this map. Now it shows the size of the Roman Empire in 116 AD. It covers England, France, Italy, Spain, bits of North Africa, even Turkey. The Roman Empire stretched throughout much of Europe, into North Africa and into the Middle East as well. It was enormous, and the Roman Empire lasted for hundreds of years and left a huge impact on life as we know it. We can thank the Romans for lots of things: our road systems, our style of building, our plumbing, even our calendar, the way that we talk about what date it is. Now we are going to have a look at something that can often go hand in hand with the Romans, and that is mosaics. Now mosaics were a very popular form of decorating homes for the Romans. Not just homes, public buildings and private spaces. And because they are fairly hard wearing, we can still see lots of examples today, either in situ, in Roman ruins, in former palaces and buildings, or in museums and galleries all across the world. Let's have a look first of all at this beautiful example, which is kept at the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. Have a think about our key question words that we always refer back to. What questions can we ask about this mosaic? What? What is it made of? What does it show? What shapes and what colours can we see? What textures? Who? Who's that figure in the middle? Who would have made such a beautiful piece of art? Who would have used it in their home? Where? Where was it? Where was it discovered? In what kind of building? How? How was it made? How many pieces is it made up of? Why? Why was it made? And why is it so intricate, so beautifully made? What would be the function, what would be the point of such a beautiful object? Now these are just a few of the questions that we can ask when we look at an object like this mosaic. Let's tackle what first. What exactly is a mosaic? And why did the Romans love them so much? Well, have a closer look at it. And what do you notice? Is this one single item, like a painting, or is this something a bit different? Now look really carefully. You'll see that it is made up of thousands of small pieces that have all been arranged to make the shapes and the patterns that you can see on the mosaic. Now these are pieces of glass and stone, all in different colours. The Romans used mosaics to decorate the floors and the walls of many of their buildings, and they often showed pictures from Roman mythology, stories of gods and heroes, warriors, battles and romances. To start with, to make a mosaic, an artist would mark out their design on the surface, perhaps painted or scored, etched into the surface. After that, the pictures and the patterns would be built up by adding small pieces of material, normally stone or glass, and these were called tesserae, and they would be stuck to the surface using mortar, a substance that people would use to stick things to each other. And this would keep all the pieces in place. Imagine just how long it would take to stick hundreds, if not thousands, of these tiny pieces of stone and glass down. I think it would take an awfully long time. So where would a mosaic like this be found? Well, they were everywhere. On walls and floors in buildings all over the Roman Empire, you could find mosaics. You could find them in private buildings like houses, homes, and in public ones like large Roman baths, the Forum, which was their marketplace or outdoor public space, shops. Mosaics were absolutely everywhere in the Roman Empire. Now, if you go to somewhere like Pompeii or Herculaneum, these were the towns that were buried under ash after the volcano Vesuvius erupted, well, you'll find lots of mosaics still there on the floors that you can see. And they were in all sorts of buildings. And those mosaics were preserved intact for almost 2,000 years. But this mosaic here was created in Roman Gaul. Now, Gaul is the name of an area which today roughly corresponds with modern-day France, Germany and northern Italy, and the Romans called it Gaul. This mosaic was part of the floor of a room, and although we don't have any evidence to tell us what kind of room this building would have been in, we can probably make a pretty good guess that this was a very rich, very wealthy and highly decorated building, judging by this mosaic here. And after dating it, we know that it was made roughly in around the year 150 AD, which makes it just under 2,000 years old. So, what can we notice about the mosaic? And what can we learn from the mosaic about the Romans? Well, first of all, look at the patterns. Can you see just one colour? Or can you see lots? What colours can you see? Well, the floor is made up of lots of shapes and patterns. And in amongst the black and white patterns, there are pictures. Now, what can we see? Well, we can see pictures of people and animals. What kinds of animal can you spot? Look really carefully. I think I can spot some lions, some leopards and a goat. Now, all of these are animals which you could find somewhere in the Roman Empire. And in the centre, can you see a person? Now, that person, who could that be? And around the outside, there are 4 more people. Who could these be? This picture, this mosaic, is telling us a story, and it's the story of a man called Orpheus. Now, the Romans told many stories, myths and legends, and some of them were versions of ancient Greek stories. Orpheus was a character in these stories. He's at the centre, the heart of the mosaic, surrounded by animals. Why could that be? Well, because Orpheus was said to be able to tame even the wildest animal with his music. He was a musician. It was said that when he played his lyre, an instrument that's a little bit like a harp, animals would come and surround him and gather in order to listen to his beautiful music. From the wildest lion to the most gentle rabbit, all would come to listen to Orpheus and his lyre. That is why, on this mosaic, Orpheus is at the centre, and you can see lots of different types of animals surrounding him. It would remind people of this story. But who are the 4 other human characters? Well, very often human-like figures were used to represent natural things, to make them more understandable. Can you think of something natural that comes in 4? How about the 4 seasons? Spring, summer, autumn and winter. Now, the artist of this mosaic has shown each of those seasons in a corner of the mosaic. Now remember, the seasons would have been really important to societies thousands of years ago, as they still are to us today. Crops grow depending on the season and the weather. And so there are lots of references to the seasons in ancient art. Now look how detailed these human figures are. If you look really closely, you can even see that the seasons have got green leaves in their hair and vines. And in winter, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the mosaic that Winter is wearing a red cloak or a mantle. So, we can learn a lot about Roman mythology and Roman art and decoration from this one mosaic floor. Now head to the resource pack to do some Roman activities, and you can find that in the description of this YouTube video or on the Museum at Home website. And next time, join me as we explore the wonderful world of medieval castles. So, I'll see you next time for another Museum at Home.